Dreams do come true. So kids, what's your dream?
What more is new? So bright, colorful, and new. Sometimes it feels hard, but you don't wanna give up.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
You can see my dream?
Of course, because I too had a dream. Some days I dreamt of becoming a tennis player, and some days a cricketer. To make their dreams real tomorrow, you need financial planning today. Choose from a range of child plans from Aegis Federal Life Insurance and help your child dream big.
Hello and welcome to a special preview of the World Test Championship final with someone I consider the best cricket writer in the world at the moment, dear friend of mine, Gideon Haigh. We did a very detailed conversation with Greg Chappell, and this is as part of our build-up for the WTC final. Gideon, welcome. You and I had spoken ahead of the India tour. Pleasure to speak to you again for this particular occasion. Now, obviously, change. Things are very, very different compared to what it was in India. Do you think because we played a 2-month IPL and not all Australian players played that, they will be better prepared? Australia has the edge. Am I right in saying that?
It's too close to call. I mean, different players require different levels of preparation. Fast bowlers and batsmen and wicket keepers all require different levels of exposure in first class and short form. I mean, has Cameron Green suffered as a result of playing T20 cricket in the IPL? I don't think so. I actually think that he's been hugely enhanced by it. The opportunity to play under pressure, to play in a good franchise, to assert himself under the strain of that colossal price tag of his. I think that will have had a huge maturing impact on him. Josh Hazlewood, I think we're probably as much in the dark about Hazlewood as he is himself. I don't think things would have been all that different whether he'd been at the IPL or not. I think there's a certain momentum that a player gets from playing consistently and being able to explore the limitations of their technique. Every player is different. Every scenario is different. You've just got to back your ability on any particular day. Probably the worst thing is to come immediately out of no cricket at all. Often you find teams getting ambushed in the first test of a series. With the World Test Championship final, of course, you don't want that to happen. This is the beginning, the middle, and the end of the competition.
Two questions. I mean, all of India will want to know this, and I asked this of Greg as well. Rohit Sharma's IPL form was patchy, not the best. But clearly 25 degrees centigrade temperature difference. I was in the UK from 15th May onwards, dry, but the temperatures were between 12, 13 to mid 20s in India, plus 40s. Secondly, slow and low wickets. Oval will be as bouncy as you can possibly get in England. So very different conditions. So do you reckon IPL form will have any impact whatsoever, or is it how Rohit's mentally switched on?
Look, I think that it would probably have been a relief for Rohit to finish the IPL. I mean, it was a very difficult and demanding tournament coming off the back of the strain of captaining India in the home series. I think for all the Indian players coming off the back of that Border Gavaskar trophy, it was difficult going into the start of the IPL, and it's very easy for things to turn. 2 or 3 failures in the IPL. Almost immediately, people start to talk. Theories get expressed. People begin to doubt themselves. It's a real test of a player's mental wherewithal. And I think it will feel a relief for Rohit to put the IPL behind him. It didn't end as badly for Mumbai Indians as it seemed halfway through the tournament. So at least it's kind of finished on something like an uptick. And of course, the fact that it's taken place so far away and in a completely different genre of cricket means that you're able to psychologically refresh.
Virat, I mean, again, somebody whole world will be talking about me in India. Unfortunately, in England, his record isn't that great, 2014, 2021.
Yeah, sure.
Comparatively. In 2018, he was sensational, perhaps the best ever that an Indian batter has played in England. But compared to that, in Australia, he's been brilliant. Greg was making this point that Oval will be as close to Australia as he can possibly get in England.
Yeah.
Does that help Virat? I mean, your thoughts on Virat?
Yeah. Look, I think I'm always interested in watching Virat play T20 cricket. I think part of him wants to love it, but the purist in him kind of rebels against it. He actually finds it difficult to sort of scale down his greatness to T20 specifications. That's why sometimes I think he bats a little bit slower than some people like. The classicist in him kind of reverts to orthodoxy. So he will relish the opportunity to get back to a full-scale stage. And I thought the way he was batting in the second half of the IPL suggested a man who was finding out new things about his game, sensing the opportunities to explore his limits, and he'll be bursting like a bull at a gate to get out there and have a full test expanse to explore. Yeah, I'd be backing him to be India's outstanding batsman. I mean, I know it's not a huge bet because he is probably the outstanding batsman, but I think this is the kind of forum where his great strengths come to the fore.
Yes, your thoughts on the selection of Ajinkya Rahane? I mean, almost left out in the wilderness and then has an incredible IPL. I don't think the selection was only prompted by the IPL, but also the injuries and experience and all of that. Having said that, all of a sudden, Ajinkya Rahane back in the mix and also great hands behind the wickets. How important is that selection?
Yeah, look, Ajinkya Rahane, if he's in form, he's one of the first picked, as far as I'm concerned. He's just a kind of he's a centre of gravity in that team, which has a lot of kind of flamboyant and ebullient personalities in it. The more kind of aggressive and expansive Indian cricket becomes, I think the more they need Rahane to be in form. Just having watched him out here, you and I watched him in that last Border Gavaskar Trophy here. He's an inspirational presence. It's not just what he adds with the bat and in the field, but in the dressing room, I think he's kind of at his best. He's indispensable. So I'm delighted to see him back. I know that there's an absolute constellation of Indian batting talent out there that you could pick, but good on the selectors for actually recognising his merits and his importance, and for making a selection with a sense of what goes to making a cohesive team.